You know the image of Tuscany: rolling hills, cypress trees, and Renaissance villas. You associate it with fine wine and Michelangelo. But what if the very spirit of independence, artistry, and stubborn localism that defines modern Tuscany, and that fueled its profound influence on America, was born not in the Renaissance, but in a rival civilization 3,000 years ago? Prepare to look beyond the Romans. This is the story of Etruria, the ancient civilization that Rome systematically erased, and whose powerful cultural DNA secretly survived for millennia, migrating across the Atlantic to shape the American identity in ways historians are only now fully recognizing. The land before Rome, the Etruscan enigma. The true origins of Tuscany lie in the Etruscans, a highly advanced, mysterious civilization that flourished in central Italy, Etruria, from the 8th century BCE until its gradual absorption by the Roman Republic. The Romans inherited their roads, their rituals, and even their political structure from the Etruscans, yet they went to great lengths to ensure that the Etruscan language and identity vanished from history. The Etruscans were unique. Unlike the Greeks or the later Romans, they were intensely focused on local autonomy. Their political structure was a loose confederation of 12 independent city-states like Veii and Tarquinia, which rarely unified, even when facing external threats. This ingrained tradition of fierce municipal self-reliance, where the loyalty was to the city, not the central empire, is the first crucial piece of DNA that survived the Roman dominance. When Rome finally conquered Etruria in the 3rd century BCE, it attempted a complete cultural assimilation. Yet the deep cultural roots persisted. The Etruscan love for fine craftsmanship, expressive art, particularly their bronze work and unique tombs, and a sophisticated, almost hedonistic lifestyle, never truly died. Instead, they became localized, flowing beneath the surface of the Roman imperial structure. The medieval reawakening, the rise of the communes. For 1,000 years, the Roman and later medieval world dominated Italy. But as the Roman Empire dissolved, the ancient Etruscan DNA began to reassert itself. In the 11th and 12th centuries, the cities of Tuscany, Florence, Siena, Pisa, and Lucca, didn't just become powerful, they became fiercely independent communes, self-governing city-states. This sudden, powerful return to municipal autonomy was a direct echo of the ancient Etruscan Confederation. Florence and Siena were defined by their political rivalry, artistic competition, and absolute refusal to submit to the Pope or the Holy Roman Emperor. They were not seeking to rebuild Rome, they were rebuilding the spirit of Etruria. This Ghibelline versus Guelph political culture, the constant internal struggle between powerful families and powerful cities, defined the Renaissance. This unique Tuscan identity, intellectual, highly competitive, locally focused, and fiercely individualistic, was the core culture that fueled the global explosion of the Renaissance. The American journey, the immigrant artists and philosophers. The influence of this uniquely independent Tuscan culture did not stop at the Renaissance. It migrated to the United States in several distinct waves, profoundly shaping American cultural life in the 19th and 20th centuries. While many immigrants came from southern Italy seeking economic survival, a significant number of Tuscans arrived in the U.S. carrying specialized skills, intellectual curiosity, and that ingrained sense of municipal pride. They settled in pockets across New England and New York, often becoming leaders in artistic and culinary fields. The architectural code. The American Renaissance revival, which dominated public architecture in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, think of American city halls, universities, and libraries, was directly inspired by Florentine and Sienese Renaissance architecture. The ideal of the self-governing Tuscan commune was aesthetically translated into the American ideal of civic pride and democracy. The philosophical transfer, the core American concept of the citizen patriot, a person actively engaged in local government, prioritizing education and civic duty, found its intellectual foundation in the political philosophy of the Florentine Renaissance, Machiavelli, Medici. Scholars today argue that the Florentine Republican tradition was a crucial intellectual source for the American founding fathers, providing a blueprint for secular, competitive government. The viral truth, from fine art to the kitchen. The influence became more democratic in the 20th century, reaching every American kitchen. The modern Italian-American culinary identity, which has become a staple of U.S. culture, owes a huge debt to the Tuscan tradition. The Tuscan focus on simple, high-quality ingredients, olive oil, fresh herbs, and the distinct cucina povera, peasant cooking, became the foundation for what Americans widely adopted as good Italian food. The popularity of Chianti wine, specialized cured meats, and olive oil, all deeply rooted in Tuscan history, became pervasive, linking millions of Americans to this ancient culture through daily consumption. The most fascinating aspect of this surviving cultural DNA is its non-conformity. Just as the ancient Etruscans resisted the centralized authority of Rome, modern Tuscany remains an outlier in Italian culture, proudly distinct from the Roman South or the industrial North. That spirit of fierce non-conformist localism, a cultural independence that values the beauty of the city over the might of the state, is the subtle, enduring legacy they brought to the U.S. The final realization is this: when a modern American celebrates the artistry of a Renaissance master, enjoys the civic pride of their local city center, or embraces the simple freshness of Mediterranean cuisine, they are not just engaging with post-Roman history. They are quietly honoring the ancient Etruscan code, the legacy of a civilization that refused to die, whose cultural DNA survived millennia of imperial erasure to finally find its expression in the architecture, philosophy, and cuisine of the modern American Republic. The shadow of Etruria is long, and its persistence proves that true cultural identity once established can outlast armies and empires, forever shaping the world in unexpected ways.